Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. Today's project is a bit more of an outdoorsy one in that we're going to be making a paracord camp chair. It is also referred to as a camp stool, but I wanted to avoid any crappy jokes, so I named it a chair. With that said, it's really comfortable, it's practical, you can use it while fishing, carving, whittling. Really, it's a nice little piece of furniture that you can make while bushcrafting, camping, things like that. As far as supplies go, the first thing that you're going to need are going to be the legs for our chair. These are 2 feet long each and about 2 inches in diameter. We are going to process both ends of our poles. We are either going to add a notch onto each end or a hole. So if you only have a knife or a saw available, such as in camping, bushcraft and survival, then you're going to make a notch. If you have a drill, make a hole. The hole should be about half an inch in diameter. The notch about 3/4 of an inch deep. The notches or holes need to be done parallel. So if this one on this side is facing this way, the notch on the other side is going to face the same way. And it's the same with holes. So this one is facing down, so the hole on the other side is going to face the same way. Next, we're going to need a length of paracord for lashing our poles together. This piece of paracord should be at least 12 feet long. In my case, I'm using 15 feet of Paracord 550. This cord is going to be used to lash and hold the 3 poles together. Next, you're going to need 3 pieces of paracord, 7 feet long each. We are going to twist these 3 pieces into a single piece of rope. This is going to be our top support rope. It is also going to form the basis for our seat. We are going to need a single piece of cord about 10 feet long. This cord is going to be used as our bracing cord. It's going to run through the holes in our poles. We are going to need a bunch of sticks of differing lengths. These are about half an inch in diameter. They are used to make the seat of our chair. We are now going to lash the 3 poles together. To do this, pick up the piece of paracord meant for the lashing. We are going to attach it onto the middle point of one of our poles. We are going to tie a simple clove hitch. So take about 1.5 feet to 2 feet of cord into one of your ends. Then create a loop, then a second loop, and place the second loop over the first one. This ties a clove hitch. Place it onto the middle point of your pole. Like this. Tighten up firmly. Then wrap the short end around your long end. This is very important because it's going to secure the short end into place. Like this. I'm now going to continue by adding a series of wrapping turns. I have marked down my pulls to make things a bit easier to follow. My cord is attached onto pull number 1. Now pass in between the other 2 pulls, so the second and the third one. Come around the second pull, so around, and in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the third one. Like this. Then come around the third pull, and in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the second one. Like this. Then again wrap around the first pull, come in between the second and third pull, like this. Then come around the second pull, and in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the third one. Like this. Then wrap around the third pull, and come in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the second one. Like this. And again wrap around the first pull, come in between the second and third pull, like this. Then around the second pull, and in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the third one. Then wrap around the third pull, and come in between the other 2 pulls, so the first one and the second one. So you probably already have a good idea at how to build the series of wraparounds. It's around the first pull, in between the other 2 pulls, around the second pull, in between the other 2 pulls, around the third pull, in between the other 2 pulls. And then you start the next sequence again around the first pull. We have now done a series of wrapping turns. We have done them as tightly as we could. We're now going to add frapping turns. Frapping turns travel across our wrapping turns and tighten them up. So here I'm traveling in between the first and second pull. I'm going to go behind my first pull across my wrapping turns, then come to the front of my first pull, then again behind it, tighten up, travel across my wrapping turns, and again to the front of my first pull. Now I'm going to travel behind my second pole. Like this. So here, I am behind the second pole and I'm going to travel across the wrapping turns. Then, to the front of my second pole, tighten up, behind my second pole, and again to the front of the second pole. Then we're going to travel behind the third pole. Like this, and we're now behind the third pole. Travel across your wrapping turns and to the front of the third pole. Then behind, across your wrapping turns, and to the front. So we have now added our wrapping turns. We are now going to add a couple of hitches to finish up our lashing. Come behind your third pole and pass your working hand into the loop, creating a hitch. Tighten up as firmly as you can. Then repeat. Behind the third pole, come into the loop and tighten up. You can do this several times. Then I'm going to take my working hand and wrap it around my final cord in the wrapping turns. Just to secure it, like at the start and like in a timber hitch. So this is our lashing. We are going to set up our tripod, so the legs. All we do is rotate each leg. Like this. I'm now going to build a support rope out of the 3 7-foot-long cords. To do this, I'm first going to join them together at one end. To do this, I'm simply going to tape them up. You can tie them together if you don't have any tape. Like this. We are now going to take our 3 cords and twist them into a single piece of rope. To do this, place your cords under a heavy object. Take the left out of the 3 ends, twist it away from you, so towards the left side, and place it over the other 2 cords. Take the new left end and repeat. Twist away from you, so towards the left side, and place over the other 2 cords. And the new left end, twist it away from you, so towards the left side, and place it over the other 2 cords. Just keep doing this until you basically twist all of your ends into a single piece of rope. So to repeat, left end, twist it away from you, place it over the other 2 ends. Then again, left end, twist it away from you, and over the other 2 ends. and the new left end, twist it away from you and over the other two ends. So it's quite simple and you should have no problem doing it. After twisting our rope, we're going to secure the other end as well using a piece of tape. Like this. We are now going to switch to our 10-foot long bracing cord. We're going to run it through all of the holes in the poles. We're going to run it in a zigzag pattern. So from the bottom up, then down and up. Later on, we're going to join the two ends. Here is a quick look at the bracing cord once it is done. It travels from the bottom up, then down, and up, and down, and up, and then it meets its other end. We are now going to switch to our twisted cord and to run it through the top 3 holes. We are going to continue our project by joining our ends together. So the two ends of our support rope, so the top one, and the two ends of our bracing cord. I recommend joining the two ends of your top rope first. To do this, I'm going to use the double sheet bend. Fold one end into a bight. Take the other end, feed it through the bight, come around and under your cord. So this is the sheet bend. To make it double, make another turn and again pass it under the cord. Like this. So this is the double sheet bend. Now tighten it up as tight as you can make it. Once you have a nice and tight top rope, we are going to secure our sheet bend a bit further by adding a couple of hitches. So with this end, like this, and the other end. This is basically just a safety precaution. Now let's move on to the bracing cord. We are also going to join the two ends of our bracing cord together. To do this, first loosen up your bracing cord by pressing down firmly onto your tripod. Take the two ends, pull on them to tension them up, then tie a double sheet bend. So a bight using one of your ends, take the other end, feed it through the bight, come around, and under your cord. Like this. And this is the single sheet bend. Make another turn. Again come under the same cord. Now tighten up your bracing cord as much as you can. Then, as a safety precaution, make a hitch with each of your ends. Like this. Finally, we are going to insert a bunch of sticks into the lay of our support rope. To do this, take a stick, lift a strand up, and place your stick under it. Like this. Then repeat on the other side. Like this. Take the next stick, which is slightly longer, since our seat is getting wider. Again, lift a strand and place your stick under it. And on the other side as well. Keep doing this until you cover your seat. The end result is a triangular seat with a tapered effect. So guys, that's the Paracord camp chair. It really gave me a sense of accomplishment when making this one. It's comfortable, and you can use it to relax. You know you need it. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time as well.